People who are going there. Bless upon yourself. Manners and respect. Well, I just got out of a virtual meeting, virtual town hall meeting with the UIC, United Independence Congress. That is the third party that is registered in Jamaica. And honestly, I came on social media and I told you guys about it. Them tell me, say, someone to come over them. Tell me someone to come, man. People, thank you guys for who tuned into the meeting just now. The UIC meeting. Thank you guys for coming over there. Thank you, PNP, and thank you, Labour Right, too. Thank you, non-voters who take your time out to check out the virtual town hall meeting with UIC just now. I spent, they invited me on, and I spent like 3 hours in that meeting, and people, may not lie to you, it was inspiring. People, next time, next meeting, it's going to be bigger because me coming back here with the next meeting. The next meeting is coming up. Next town hall meeting will be coming up. You know? Let me tell you something about me kind of like about the UIC. They've never tell about no cow jump over the moon and horse dead and cow fat and all this run away with the spoon and them had this and them had that. Family, it's a grassroots movement. It's for Jamaicans. Grassroots movements. The man have them some good plan for weed and all them things. They can know that weed can propel Jamaica through the roof. They know that. Some of them know the current, they know that. And them say they want more of the local people in Jamaica to benefit from weed. Because basically weed goes solo out or weed gone commercial, weed gone to some local man whenever used to smoke weed back in the days, I see local man who got lock up the weed, and them the man there, I make big money off of weed. You see man who used to get lock up the weed, them now make the money off of weed. But the man who used to say, move first with the thinking ganja, and then the boy there make money off of weed. People, the man that we used to say, move first with the thinking ganja, then the boy there make money off of weed right now. You see the Rasta them and the local them who run down mountain just to hide the seed. Despite the helicopter, the Black Hawk helicopter, coming up there with them, come eradicate the weed. If the Rasta never save the seed, none will grow. See weed are legal in Jamaica, where the poor people them involved in it. That's why I say we can't like the current party when we're in the power. That's why I have to look on other parties, people. People have to look at other parties, brother. What we have to lose? I'm tell you I'm 50 already, I'm not going to change. I'm tell you my father, I'm 98-year-old, 88-year-old, I'm not going to change for him and see the same thing. What we have to lose? You want to get all like my father and have the same thing I go through? You want to go through the same thing as my father is 88-year-old. You want to be that age and still go look like a great grandpicture and tell you, say, from your boy, the same thing, People, be honest, Jamaica, make we have some intelligent talk, and I come up with a stupid political nonsense. Coming in no time with that for me page, people. Me not in no time for some people who want Jamaica move forward. Me not in no time for some people to live off a politician. And politician feed you. That's how they do all right because I get 1 dozen chicken. Some of them all right because I get 1 dozen chicken. Me will see man go on social media and say, well, me get me 50 chicken already and me feeding them, so me know who me going to vote for. Imagine your vote is worth 50 chicken as a feeding. That's what the whole of Jamaica worth. Because your vote counts. Your vote counts, family. Man, I get chicken and feeding another person I vote for. You see what I say? Someone wants to Jamaica where we don't have a politician have to come and say a man beg them. People need to provide them own job. They get their own job. You don't have a big politician. Every Jamaican is independent and they want to work. Yeah, woman, a big man, hand man. I mean, come on, man. The begging days are over. It's time for people to work, man. So they can take care of their family, man. They can beg man every day to feed you, appearance. A man give you a little piece of food one day and him gone. Tomorrow come, what you gonna do? You beg again to pay rent. You beg today for food. Tomorrow you gonna do beg again. No, we need job. Jamaica, you need job, and leaders we look for a brighter future. And the reason why I like this, the UIC, is because it's grassroots. Grassroots. I'm with the grassroots movements. Yeah, man. Never hear about the Bernie Sanders grassroots movements? You never see Bernie movements? Grassroots movements. The man said no one a rich man to come buy it out, a rich donor to come drop them big wad of money in it and buy out and control everything like how them control them politician ahead. A money man control them politician ahead. You hear me say? Money man control them current politician ahead. When they put big money in it, you can't talk to them.
Some of our parties say, boy, grassroots movement will liquor. So guess what? Our politics in a family. And I'm a human being. So everybody can feel you. But hear me, what you have to lose? What you have to lose? What do you have to lose, people? Tell me. What you have to lose? My father is what? We tell you already, 88-year-old. My father, great-grandfather. And man look like a little great-grandpit and say, hey, from your boy, you know, it's the same thing. People. You want to reach 98, you want to look at your great-grandkid and say, hey, from when I was a boy, it's the same thing. And there's a party that is created. You have two other parties, you know. You have one with the pastor, them, you know. We want to hear them in a birth, we want to hear what the pastor them have to do, you know. We want to hear them people. We need to listen them out. But so far, I like the UIC. Yeah, man, send up on my page. I mean, say, I got Souflo. Yeah, man, they say, man, me encourage them, man, say, dude, not be like them a regular politician and they don't want to go talk to Souflo. You don't want to talk to Ashanti 360. You don't want to talk to Rapper Crapper. Get on Rapper Crapper page. Get on Souflo page. Get on Ashanti. Go meet the people where they at. That's how politics run. And if you want to run, if you want to be in the election in the next 6 years, I want to be in people's head, that's what you got to do. That's how grassroots movement work. Grass and with it. Go find Souflo. Go talk to Souflo. Go find New Links. Go talk to him. Go talk to Teach. Go talk to Rapper Crapper. Go talk to Ashanti 360. Who are they? You know, believe that the people them there. Because I say, I look on the Patterson. The UIC president was supposed to be on CVM the other day, and CVM them cancel it. So I tell them, say, you know what? CVM TV and all them TV, them controlled by political elite in Jamaica. You can't go through them. The Green and the Star, they write whatever they want to write because they're controlled by whoever give them the biggest dollar that day. You understand? They control. But you know who no control? The blackers them. So I tell them, the blackers in the control. I tell me, sir, Patterson said, don't watch CVM TV. When we hear them turn on the cars, I was up looking for the interview. So we hear them turn on the president, them cancel that. You know, me tell them, say, man, don't watch that, man. Social media is bigger than CVM. May I show them something. Social media is bigger than CVM TV. CNN and Fox and MSNBC, the whole of them, they're on social media trying to get views. It's sure that social media is bigger than them. Fox is on Facebook, MSNBC, CNN is all that. Look at them, a big TV station. Big, with a lot of viewers. But when they find themselves right here on social media, so who do they see them and the people and all the people? It's get out here where the people are. This is grassroots movement. Go talk to Rapper Crapper. Go talk to Souflo. Come talk to Jamaican Carlos. Go talk to New Links. Go talk to Teach. Go talk to Jamaican Buzz. Go find all them bloggers here. And then the Jamaican people them hang out. Right there is where the Jamaican people them hang out. And you go find the people wherever they at, and you go meet them. And you go tell them about this new plan. And see if you not change Jamaica. Because some people believe say Jamaica can't change for this new two political grip. I lie them I tell. Let me tell you something, man. See, used to change is a hell of a thing, you know. I remember I can't really believe that people used to smoke in airplanes. People used to smoke in airplanes. People used to smoke in buildings. People used to smoke in the office. You have the officer type right here, the next man next to you have him ashtray right there, smoke. That was legal. In airplane, people. Can you imagine? In a little tube up in the air, people are smoke and kill in there. So. Driver smoke and the old diesel fumes that come from the old engine there back in the days, them old bus. When the engine used to upper front right beside the gear stick. Everything right there, so. So all the steam and all the fumes coming up with all the cigarette. Blend with all that, give me a headache. I used to get a headache from the cigarette smoke from the driver. We could do nothing about it. It was legal. But that is illegal now. Even though the smokers then find problem with it. They didn't want to change. They want to hold on to it. Let me smoke in the plane. Please let me smoke in the bus. That was wrong as hell. And you know it's wrong now. Smokers, they don't look back on those days. They know that they were stupid, don't you? Stupid as hell, don't you? Go down the road now. Seatbelt. When them say seatbelt law, enforce. No, I don't want no seatbelt, man. Let me dead if I want dead, man. My rights to die, man. If I want to die, man. If I want to crash and lick my head on the steering wheel and fly through the windscreen. It's my right. And government say, boom! Seatbelt laws. Wear seatbelt. Because many people used to die before and called for deaths. When it flash out a car, you have an accident, no seatbelt. You fly through the steering, the windscreen. another car run you over. That happened from a lot of deaths without people wearing seatbelt. So imagine when they say bow, law, seatbelt, right? And people still are merman, make nice man, make me live, man, everyone dead, no me dead. But look now, you're looking back on those days. I say, boy, we are stupid, you know. How come me I drive at a high rated speed, 80, 90, 100 miles per the freeway and not even wearing a seatbelt? God, we are stupid. So change isn't easy to come, family. Change isn't easy to come. People don't like change. Anybody. We don't like change. You could be black, white, anybody. Don't like. People just don't like change, period. So in order to tear the people from the grip of the PNP and the labor right, who buy them out, correct them and buy vote to the people. Right them and buy vote, I'm going to tell Jamaican people to take their money and go vote for who they want to vote for. I tell them already, you know. Any man send them vote. Yeah, man, take their money, man. If me say to a PNP, labor to come buy your vote. Take the money and go on and vote for your PNP. If you are labor right and PNP come buy your vote, take the money and go vote for your labor rights. Can take it up for Kunamono. So it's time to turn it around now. So anytime the virtual meet now come for the UIC, now introduce you to this people. Can't say Carlos to be telling you. Some man will say, nobody else can win a Jamaica, man. Nobody else can win a Jamaica, man. And some man will say, me a PNP all labor right till me dead. Me never drink cut panic. People, and I saw if you think, that's not the right way to think. So that means if the PNP sell the Jamaica to China, you're still going to depend on the boat, say if PNP ship a sink. Then they do nothing wrong because your father boat beat. Same thing with labor right. If labor right ship a sink and because your parents boat for it, and the labor right man burn down the whole of Jamaica, you never, come on man, it's not a good way to think. That's not a good way to think, family. So, me just want to tell you somebody that's come out of the virtual town hall meeting with the UIC. And it was very interesting, people. Somebody that introduced you to my knowledge I just get a while ago. So, whenever they have it again, it's going to come up. I will announce it. I will have it even bigger. Watch it. You're going to be bigger the next time. So, I'm going to have you right here with me. Live, just like this. I'm going to go at this Zoom meeting, baby. Zoom meeting. And I enjoyed it, family. It's on the page. It's below this. I posted it. It's below this. The Zoom meeting is there somewhere. All right? So respect and manners, family. All right? So don't make nobody take up in a sheep. We're in a sheep. Nobody can lead with. Nobody can pen with. Some of the Jamaican a pen. Can't quote the ratted pen. We in the PNP pen and the Labour right pen. With grandfather them in the same pen. With mother in the pen. They pick them in the pen. The grand pick them in the pen. And look what they do with it. Eh? What will they do for it? You still got a town up like this is zinc fence up there. Pure zinc fence. You want to be telling me, say, at 2020, we can't tear down zinc fence. Imagine, those are there they never build a talk. They say, imagine. You build a nice house, right? You build a nice house, and you have never seen, you can't see the street. Because you build up this zinc fence right before your veranda. You don't see that people, oftentimes, they build a house, I wonder, what the hell? You build a nice house in this property, but a big old zinc fence right before. You can't even look out the road. What kind of view that? What kind of life that? It's time somebody will come out of the poverty life, and I would think it's okay. Once you build a house, put this old rusty, nasty zinc around it, it's just an eyesore to your nice house that they just painted. But because of the mentality of us people, and nobody taught you any better. So a lot of us don't think that it is okay. It's a sort of thing set, man. Man, I saw it set, yeah, man. Yeah, man, you know better, you know? No better than they, you know? And it's make with Jamaica now, we said, look at nasty, crazy word there. No better than they, you know? Think about the murder that we always use family. I saw a thing set, man. Jano, you know? Jano, my youth. I saw him go, you know? I saw them deal with it, you know? I saw them deal with poor people, man. Yeah, man. And I see what we've been saying. My grandfather been saying the things. My father been saying it. And we could grandpa them and come and say the same thing too. Grandpa, I saw you still, you know? I saw, Grandpa, imagine your grandpa that can look for you as a grandfather. And I said, Grandpa, I saw you still, you know? I saw they done, man. No, I saw you said, Grandpa, I saw you said, you know, get no better, you know? Jamaica bad grandpa, your grandfather, you know? So people, the UIC is not going to run. They withdraw from this because they said the COVID, right? They said they're not going to drag Jamaican people through it. That's what I'm saying. So, but the next 4 years, they can sharpen up their teeth and come in because me like the grassroots movements. Me don't like nobody that tell me say cow jump over moon and a diddle diddle. Don't tell me say diamond is gonna fall from the sky. Give me the tough argument, man. Jamaican people understand the tough argument, you know, Jamaica people. Yeah, man. And they are looking for volunteer people, donors and volunteers. You know, if you want to get in the party and do so, listen to what I say, check out them things. They want people to work. Not for no bright, I want to be one MP or a senator. Enough space in there. So get busy, people. What me say? What me say, Tono? What me say, Tono, people? You can be a senator. You can be an MP. Enough room in there. They might look workers. Get hot. Don't let me start campaign for them, people. Don't let me start kind of go easy, you know. You know, you know, go easy upon the PNP and the labor right them, you know. I'm tired of them. I'm not only tired of them too. I will start campaign from now, but you see next 4 years. I'm telling man, no stop. If you're gonna vote by next year, man, start the campaign starts. No, you're not gonna run. They're not gonna run. But if you're gonna run the next 4 years against this two monster machine called PNP and Labour right at Jamaica, will control the people and mine. We buy out the people and vote and tell the people them to cow jump over the moon and diamond gonna fall from the sky. It's not easy to wrestle Jamaican people. Out of them a man a jawbone. Me tell you easy. It's not easy to wrestle Jamaica out of the arms of the PNP and the Labour right. They control them. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible, people. We need to talk about it among each other. Listen to it and talk to your family about it. Go and read. Go on the website and read, people, for yourself. Don't just listen to what I say. Go and read. Me always tell you, go and read for you guys self. Read about them. Ask them question. Ask them question. Nobody in Jesus. Ask them question. What me say? Ask them questions. Nobody in Jesus. Ask questions. And Mr. Patterson, the president, I want a cool man. He's a humble man. Eh? You can say Mr. Patterson is a humble man. I come from humble beginning. Humble beginning. And them the man them love to see run the country because enough of them boy we're up there already and the neck too big. The fat neck boy they make and name off everything up on top there, brother. No grass, no love for the country. So you see the grassroots movement here, now give it a second look. Now keep pay attention to them here, people. I'm going to pay attention to them too. I'm going to pay attention to them. Right? I'm going to pay attention to them. So we're going to get one more town hall meeting with them. Yeah, I know I'll get one more town hall meeting with them, invite. So check what. We're going to stay in touch with them here. Peace and love. Don't be the sheep.
Right after is the people are back out in their green and back out in their orange again and ready to vote again for the same leadership. Ready to vote again for the same of the same and more of the same. The same people that are crying out for change and crying out for better are ready to vote again for the same old, but expect to get better results from the same old. That's an issue. That's a big issue. It look away. Somebody said to me, sir, I think it was Brains that said, you know, me tired of Jamaican people, not tired of, me don't feel sorry for us, me not feel sorry for we again, because it's something that we've accepted. We understand it's something that we've accepted. The choice to remain ignorant, the choice to just be docile and just go, man, it's just easier to just go along than it is to actually hold people accountable. It's easier to just go along than it is to actually point out and speak up. Family, we must be a conscious part of the change that is to take place if we are truly expecting better, unless we just talk. We must be a conscious part of the change that is supposed to take place, unless we're just talking. Just talking not going to do any good. We have to get active. Now, I have read up on what the UIC is about as far as their agenda for Jamaica. There's a part there that I really like. they're talking about a new Jamaica under a constitutional republic. I don't know what that means. It probably means that we won't be under that same, because you know that Jamaica never reconstructed its constitution. The same structure that they have now is the same structure that was in place during colonial times. The exact same structure. And nothing changed. So how can this antiquated system be governing in modern times? The population has changed as far as who is in control, not who is in control, but the majority of the people, as far as life has changed for us. We're no longer on the sugarcane plantations, okay? We're no longer on buck-breaking farms. We're no longer living that way. We have stepped up a little. And in order for us to step up some more, there's no way that we can survive and thrive under that colonial system that is in place right now. So I am looking for alternatives. I want to know, what is the alternative? Is it JLP, PMP, and then what? All right, Mr. Patterson, we're waiting on you.
Just a second here. Yes, I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you tonight?
I'm doing wonderful.
Excellent.
All right, now we can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for having me. Much appreciated.
All right, and thank you for being here. Now, moving into this, could you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, let them know who you are, what you represent, so we can get started from there?
Sure, no problem. So again, my name is Joseph Patterson. I am the president of the United Independence Congress, UIC Jamaica for short. The UIC is the third registered party in Jamaica. We're a movement that's committed to protecting individual rights and sovereignty of the Jamaican people and individual. And so we have been working steadily towards building momentum to transform Jamaica from what it is now into a constitutional republic that will protect the rights of Jamaicans.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I was of the assumption before, and a lot of other people are, that we only had two choices. So
yes.
And is it so that we have just JLP and PMP, or are you established and ready for people to vote for that party?
Right. So some time ago in 2018, the two major parties that have been around for over 75 years introduced laws to register political parties. So they create rules to register political parties. Prior to that, any group could call themselves a political party and contest elections. No third party has been able to do much damage in that sense. So they created these rules which would have effectively eliminated competition. The UIC was formed by myself and many other Jamaicans, 1,300 other Jamaicans, and we contested the process and was subsequently registered after 10 months of battling with the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. We then organized and got ready for 2020 elections, but the Prime Minister decided to call an election 9 months before it has to be called, at a time when we're in the midst of a pandemic. So our party, the UIC, decided to boycott that election because we believe it is reckless, irresponsible, and unsafe for the Prime Minister to ask Jamaicans to engage in campaigning activities and voting activities at this time.
Which makes sense. So your way of boycotting is just sitting out.
Yes, we're not contesting this election, and we're encouraging Jamaicans to stay home and stay safe. Since we have started this process, we have had an exponential growth in cases. We had in the last 24 hours 98 new cases, and the 24 hours before that 58 new cases, and we expect it's going to be even more. The Prime Minister has chosen to put the Jamaican people at risk because he thought he's popular enough to win a snap election. And that is very dangerous and very unhealthy. And unfortunately, it's going to damage the economy further and overwhelm our healthcare system just so that the Prime Minister can get 5 more years in office.
I was just speaking about that earlier. And even if you're not looking at politics, you would look at what's going on, just the pandemic for what it is. And the whole social distancing thing and trying to stay safe and flatten the curve, as they say it, and all that. And then to see so many people out in the public, and I'm watching the videos of these rallies, and nobody, I mean, majority of the people there are not wearing masks, and they're definitely not staying within any great distance apart from each other. They're right up on each other in huge crowds. So
absolutely,
yes, and I can see danger in that. I can see
the Prime Minister is a very informed Jamaican. He knows that our people are generally not the most disciplined in the world. He knows that many Jamaicans, right now the polls tell us, when we did a poll, that 50% of Jamaicans do not take the virus seriously. Mm-hmm. So by him calling elections, he has by default told that 50% of Jamaicans that there's nothing to worry about. Now the Prime Minister shut down the economy and has been shutting down many areas of Jamaica because of this pandemic before. And now he has undermined all of that work and caused Jamaicans to feel as though they're safe, and it's going to cause many of them to possibly lose their lives, or at least to end up losing their livelihood, or to suffer greatly from the effects of the disease. Now, I don't know about you or any other Jamaican, but there's no way that I could ever vote for somebody who's going to put power instead of my interest, protecting the lives and livelihoods of Jamaicans.
That is what I was saying also, but I see it happening. It is as if watching a lot of the people just go with the flow kind of thing. They're not more concerned about the real issues.
No. I mean, a lot of Jamaicans are, like, especially those who are called diehard supporters of their respective parties.
Right.
And by the way, that's no longer a majority. You know, that's about 48% of Jamaica. They are going to go out in their numbers and they're going to get involved. Like it's like a carnival for them. It's like a festivity, you know, a carnival.
Right.
And they're going to go out in their rallies, in their motorcades, in their groups, and they're not going to pay attention to any of the social distancing or mask or hygiene factors that we need to pay attention to. And the Prime Minister knows this. But maybe there's a hidden agenda. Maybe this is a one way for him to get the numbers up for us to take the vaccine. Maybe he has made a deal and arrangement with Bill Gates and others. And so he's hoping that, yes, he's going to win the election because he believes he has the support in the short term to win the election before the ill effects kick in. But then he knows that he's going to get a big injection of vaccines coming for free. He is, in fact, campaigning that he's going to give free vaccine.
Right, I saw that. I saw that. Free vaccine to every Jamaican. I saw that.
Yeah, and they've done this to Jamaicans all the time. They keep bribing Jamaicans with so-called free things while they're busy stealing the resources of the country, selling it out to foreigners, and leaving Jamaicans to become tenants in their own country.
Facts. We've been, yes. Yeah.
I mean, right now, if you come to Jamaica, I don't know if you've been here recently, but if you come to Jamaica, you will notice that almost every business of substance is owned by somebody other than Jamaicans.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So everything, the Jamaican is becoming like a wage slave in this country, or somebody begging a job. You understand? And this has been done by the two parties. You know, some Jamaicans like to blame one or the other. It's the two of them that has been in power since 1944. That's over 76 years, almost 76 years, right?
Yeah.
Since 1944, they've been in power. You want to tell me, sir, with 75 years, you couldn't create a better country than this? 75 years, some people still don't have water in their house, don't have toilet inside of their house. Some of the roads you can't drive your car up the road because it might mash up before you get to the end of it. Many of our communities don't have sidewalks, don't have street lights. You can't go home late at night or leave your house early in the morning because it's dark. The police is poorly trained and under-equipped, so security is a problem. The justice system is inaccessible because it's very expensive and inefficient. Now, I mean, I don't see how any Jamaican in their right mind could continue to vote for something like this. But unfortunately, they've been able to brainwash enough Jamaicans to continue in the path of voting for them while they're destroying the people in the process.
What would you say to the people who say that the votes don't really count?
Well, if you're voting for one of the two, the vote doesn't count because it doesn't matter. When you see the GLP and the PNP are just two sides of the same coin. You might recall, remember, the colonial powers that had Jamaica, they were the ones that approved those two parties. They were the ones that created the political system that we have and gave it to us and said, follow this. And these two parties have implemented and followed the roadmap given to them by our former slave masters. Can you imagine how foolish it is to have somebody hold you up, rob you, rape you, and then give you a life plan and say, follow it, and you follow it?
Yeah.
And that's what they've done.
That's exactly what
they have followed. Yeah. They have followed the plan given to them by those who want to continue to control us, and they continue to control us. Because once you divide a people and distract them from the real objectives in life, then you continue to control them by giving them loans and charging them interest and then managing their laws. Because most of the laws we implement in Jamaica are laws dictated to our politicians by foreigners.
All right. I went on uicjamaica.com, right? Which is your website that you have set up, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I read from top to bottom. I did my reading, but I would still like, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are on here that didn't go there yet. So, and now that we have you here, I'm going to just touch on certain topics, and I want you to elaborate what is your stance, or what is the UIC stance on, let's start out with, say, corruption. Because, you know, okay, as soon as I touch corruption, take the floor.
Sure, no problem. I tell you something, in Jamaica, corruption is systemic. It is designed in our model of governance. So any party that doesn't tell you that they're going to change the system doesn't mean you any good, because the system we have in Jamaica is designed to be corrupt. For example, it creates gatekeepers in government. So you create a system where it's a personal decision whether you get a bribe or not, whether you get permission or not. It's not based on rules that are objective, that stands by themselves without anybody deciding because you black or because you too rich or because you're too poor or because you're too feisty or because you're too bright. We're not going to allow you. The system in Jamaica is based on giving politicians and political appointees the gatekeeping power to decide who goes forward and who is blocked. So, for example, if they don't want you to have a bank account in Jamaica, they can block you. If they don't want you to be able to import, they can block you. If they want to give one person special import privilege over another, they can give one person special and stop another person. So we're still operating on the master-slave economics model, where you have top dogs who make decisions that determines who can make it and who can't. That system has to go. That is a plantocratic system. And the UIC is committed to eliminating that system and bringing in what we call objective laws, objective regulations that are independent of the person sitting in the seat. You have to just follow the rules because the rules are systematic, and the rules are objective, and the rules apply to everybody the same way. So in short, that's how we're going to eliminate corruption from our political process.
Checks and balances.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, and accountability. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. My next one is colonialism.
Yes, colonialism. As you know, colonialism really is one country controlling another.
Yeah.
And Jamaica still has, to this very day, this is how you know that the two parties don't mean us any good. They approved a constitution that has as the head of our country the queen of another country that lives in another country that has nothing to do with our country and is not a part of our experience or challenges. Okay? First of all, having a monarch is a bad thing because a monarchy says you're admitting that there's a human being that is better than you and superior to you. So we don't want any form of monarchy or any system that puts one human being ahead of another. Our system, called the non-partisan constitutional republic, makes all Jamaicans equal before the law, regardless of what position you may have or how much money you may have or whatever skin color you may have or whatever organization you may belong to. The laws will apply to you equally, and those laws will be designed to protect your life, your liberty, and your property, so that not even the government has the right to infringe on your life, liberty, and property, but is only empowered to protect you and every other citizen from anyone who may wish to use force or fraud to get their way in the due course of social interaction or economics. So our system is about eliminating the plantocratic master-slave mindset that has governed Jamaica to this day. We will have no more queen, no more governor general. Just taking away that position alone will save us $250 million, which can be used to educate children or feed the poor or help seniors. So the UIC is about radical reform.
Could you repeat that again? Could you repeat that again? Could you repeat that last part again? You said just taking away, did you say just taking away the governor general?
Yeah,
or
just taking away the governor general. Yeah. Just removing the position of governor general will save us $250 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that alone.
Wow. And that can do a whole lot.
Oh yeah, we can educate a whole lot of children. We can help seniors. We can build a school. There's so much we can do with 200. And by the way, this is per year. Every year we save $250 million by not having a governor general. Every single year. And by doing what I said before about the corruption, we save 728 million US dollars we save every year by making the changes that I just described in terms of having an anti-corrupt system of governance. $728 million US dollars every year.
Wow.
So Jamaica is not a poor country, it's a rich country that is poorly run.
I've been saying that for a long time. Just going around Jamaica, you can see the wealth. Actually,
yeah, man, it's a rich country.
Yeah, but you can see that it is distributed in a certain manner. That's not beneficial to the masses of Jamaican people.
I'll show you how it works. We have a prime minister. Okay, the prime minister is 1 year younger than me. He's 48 years old, and I am 49 years old. When he left UA, University of the West Indies, he went and worked. He went and worked for 1 year in a charity, and then the following year he was working as assistant to Edward Seaga, right? Then former prime minister, and then the following year he was an MP. Okay, and all of his life was spent in politics, but yet still he's far richer than any 48-year-old has ever been in Jamaica. How is that?
And
how is that? All of your life in politics. So I am new to politics. I'm not a politician. I didn't grow up in politics. I worked my way through. I'm a chartered professional accountant and a certified general accountant. I'm an engineer. I was trained in engineering at UTech. And I've worked my way up, build my businesses, and earn.
Yes, sir. You're live on the air with Souflo again.
Yes, I'm back with you. Right. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened there.
All right. Yeah, you were breaking up a lot, but we're here again. Can you hear me?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah.
All right. So let's keep this rolling, right? So let's touch on poverty. Because let me say this first before you give me your poverty. For me in Jamaica is it belongs to the majority of the people.
Oh yes,
the majority of the people.
95.
But there seems to be very little opportunities to advance ahead, to work your way up out of poverty. You know, we say it's not where you come from, is where you are. You don't let your starting grounds define who you are then. So work your way up regardless of your circumstances you were born in, your surrounding. But it's not that easy to say for those who, which is the majority, for those who are severely limited. So this whole poverty thing is very huge, especially watching, like, seeing foreign entities come into the country and get special privileges that allow them to open and operate businesses and flourish. Okay, babe. All right, that was my wife. She says she sent some questions for me to ask. Are you there, Mr. Patterson? Hello, live on the air with Souflo.
Yes, me again. Joseph Patterson here, calling you direct.
All right, back again?
Yes.
All right, let's see if we can. So this time I'm not going to do any long talking. I'm afraid we will lose you again. So let's get right into it. I'll continue. So we went to corruption, and then we went from corruption to colonialism. Now we're on to poverty. And the floor is yours.
No problem. So poverty in Jamaica is phenomenal. I'll give you a quick example. 95% of Jamaicans live below the US poverty line. 95%. 90% of the wealth in Jamaica is controlled by less than 10% of the people in Jamaica. So the situation is terrible. Many Jamaicans live in squalor. Their homes are dilapidated and falling apart. They can't repair roofs. They can't finish the house they start. They can't put on a fresh coat of paint. They can't fix the bathroom that's leaking, if they have one inside, that is. So the situation is very bad. Now, how do we fix that problem? As long as you have a system that allows a small number of persons to control the economy of everybody else, then you lock out opportunities for growth. And that is what has been happening. Our politicians have maintained a system that allows a few people to rape the majority of us. For example, if you are trying to produce an item in Jamaica, they can stifle you. They can use regulations to stifle you, which is exactly what they do. The regulations in Jamaica are designed to protect big business from small business. So the requirements are onerous, the fees are high, the process is difficult, and then that way they get to keep you out of the market and concentrate the wealth in big business. And why is this happening? Big business fund the two parties, and they fund them almost equally. So it doesn't matter which party wins, big business know that these two parties are there to serve them, which is why the UIC does not take money from big business. We get contributions from small donors, individual Jamaicans, home and abroad, giving their $10 US, $20 US, $50 US, 1,000 Jamaican, 5,000, and we're building little by little and teaching Jamaicans that if we don't take charge of our government by building a party that is for us and not working for big business, we will never escape poverty. And the UIC has to maintain a program where we're going to change the system, not simply to go in there and try to implement the existing system. the existing system incentivizes corruption. Any good politician that goes into it is going to be corrupted. That is why the UIC is not seeking to simply win power to continue the system. We're seeking to change the system and give power back into the hands of the people. Okay?
Yes.
So that's what we're going to do.
All right. Very well said. All right. So we move from poverty now to violence, and especially violence among, not among, but towards our women and children.
Yes, yes. Now, for violence in Jamaica, you need to understand the genesis. If you went back in history in Jamaica, if you go back to the 1940s, the early 1960s, you had very low violence.
Right.
And the reason for that was the Jamaican people wasn't very divided yet. Our focus was on getting rid of the colonial master from our country. So any violence was directed towards them to leave our country and give us back our freedom. The two parties promised us that they were going to do that. But instead, what they did was to implement the plan of the colonizers, which is to divide us into two tribes to fight against each other. These same politicians then went, imported guns into the country, recruited young people, put the guns into their hands, helped them to form gangs, also helped them to form organized criminal elements, and then they fund them with government contracts and also provide them legal representation when they get caught by the law. And the same politicians interfere with the work of the police so that the police becomes a political tool as opposed to a servant of the people to prevent violence and crime and to prosecute criminals. So over time, they have created a culture of violence. And in that culture, they had no respect for women because women were like the property of men. And they have continued that. Most of our young girls are raped before they're teenagers. And some become teenage mothers or even mothers before they reach teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been a system continued and protected and fostered by these two parties. For example, the age of consent for you to have sexual relations with a young girl is less than the age when you can vote.
Exactly.
Now, who is coming up with those kind of ideas? Perverted men who are sick, who don't care about our children and care about building our country. They simply care about power and maintaining the master-slave economics that allows a few of them to have power and wealth and resources while the majority remain slave labor of various forms.
Okay, and what is the UIC's, you just educated us.
Solution?
Yeah, what is the UIC's solution or agenda to, how do you conquer this?
Sure. For crime, we have a very, very sophisticated plan that begins with what we call a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So what we want to do is to give all the criminals an opportunity to come forward and tell the truth and give us a chance to put them in a rehabilitation program and give them a second chance at life. But at the same time, we get to document and understand fully the genesis and the impact and the process and network of crime in the country. And then we go after those who did not come and confess. Use that information to go after those who did not confess and clean up the country. Now, of course, because we're also changing the governance model, now the politicians will no longer have the power to protect criminals and so on. And most importantly, we're asking Jamaicans to stop electing these two parties, because once you elect the parties that are a part of the criminal network, they will never be incentivized to bring forward the truth, because the truth will indict them. And so it's logical for Jamaicans to realize that as long as you're voting paying to your JLP, you're voting for the continuation of the crime problem, you're voting for the continuation of corruption, you're voting for the continuation of poverty, and therefore you're voting against yourself. So it's time for us to rise up as a people and throw off our allegiances and our soft spot in our heart for whatever tribal arrangement our parents and grandparents led us into, and say enough is enough. We will no longer support this. We're going to switch and allow for a party, the UIC, to change the system so we can have a safe, clean, and orderly Jamaica that protects the life, the liberty, and property of all Jamaicans equally, so that we may be able to live, earn, and retire with dignity in our own country.
Thank you. Very well put. Very well put. I seen somebody just said confess and then send them to rehab. I could just hear Mothercat voice saying that will never happen. But I would say to the people that you have nothing to lose really, because as I said before, it's the same old, same old. The same old, same old. Every cycle comes around and we get the same thing all over again. So we just left violence, especially among our women and children in our society in general. Now let's talk about crime. Separate from violence, my biggest issue is crime, but violent crime. Now, a lot of people are saying this isn't like bring back the death penalty. And I've been saying on the platform for a while now that I am all for the death penalty, but in a system that is corrupted, I can see people being framed, innocent people actually being set up to take the fall for somebody who is powerful and corrupted and is protecting their henchmen from the gallows. So the corruption would have to be cleaned up from the inside out. So as far as
you're 100% right. I mean, you cannot have the death penalty when you have a corrupt system. And in fact, I'm not even in favor of the death penalty, even when you have a better system. The reason is no justice system is infallible. So what you want to do, you want to convict criminals and make sure that they do the time and that they are kept at hard labor and that they pay restitution back to society. But to take the criminal's life and to find out that there was an error in the process later on is dangerous.
Yes.
So I'd rather not kill the person, but let them live with the consequence of their decision. Spend the time in prison and spend it at hard labor, doing productive work that will benefit society. But let's go back a little bit to the violent crimes you're talking about.
Right.
Where it really is the gun crimes in particular.
Yes.
The only reason we have a gun crime problem is because the government fails to be able to control our border. Why is it we have so much guns being imported into Jamaica? It means government has failed. They cannot control the points of entry of guns coming in. And why is it that our government fails at everything? Why is it they have to fail at roads? They have to fail at school. They have to fail at healthcare. They have to fail at guns. They have to fail at corruption. They have to fail at customer service. Everything. How come for 75 years them in politics and they have to fail at everything? Why? Why is it tell me, if you hire me as your CEO for your company and I fail 75 years consistently, would you hire me to continue with your company?
No, I would have been looking to get rid of you a long time ago.
Long time. It couldn't even go on for 10 years.
I understand that his voice went low. Your voice has gone low on the platform and we can't hear you anymore. If you can hear us still.
I'm so sorry. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're very low now though. And I've turned my speakers up all the way up to max. And
I don't know why, but I will shout. I'm shouting now. Can you hear me better?
We will try as we wrap it up because that was the last one on crime. So take the floor and take us out, please.
No problem, no problem. Well, you know, the key thing is, in all that I've said a while ago, the case that I've made is that we have hired two parties for 75 years. Those two parties were given to us by our colonial masters. They have carried out the plan of the colonial masters to the T. They have not left anything undone. They have mastered corruption. They have mastered crime. They have mastered building a system whereby the people themselves have now become scammers and corrupt. They have given us an educational system that fails 75% of our students every year. They have given us an economy that fails 95% of our citizens. They have robbed our current generation of the opportunities of finding good, decent job, of raising a good family in an environment that is safe, clean, and orderly. We, the people of Jamaica, must no longer depend on somebody else to solve our problem. There's no Messiah coming. There's no party that is funded by some rich person somewhere that's going to come and work for us. We, Jamaicans, have to fund our own party with our own little bit of money, enough so that we can take back our country from those who are funding these two other parties and change the system. We must get rid of the Queen. We must get rid of the Governor General. We must get rid of the corrupt mechanisms inbuilt in the system, and we must educate our children to be job creators and not just job seekers. And we must build an economy that rewards good, productive effort and make us a strong nation, because we're now a nation of exporters and not merely a nation of importers.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as you can see, the comment section is very active. This is Mr. Joseph Patterson, president of the UIC. And again, please go look up uicjamaica.com. Do some reading for yourself. You might not have understood everything he laid out today, even though he laid it out plain as you could get it. But uicjamaica.com. Continue from there. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with us. And we are going to, I myself personally, I'm going to be looking into more of what your party is about, UIC, and we'll be in touch. Keep the link, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, man, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And thanks to all of your fans and audiences. You're doing a great work. Keep it up and continue to educate Jamaicans home and abroad, that we may move in the right direction of good governance for a new and better Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best.
Yes, sir. Same to you.